Okay, I don't know how old this story is, but I saw this. Here's an update. Cop fatally escalated mental health crisis stand-up. Grand jury says, wow. Grand jury finds CO, I think Colorado cops escalated standoff. Let's get to it.
Very sad story. We covered it when it first happened. Now, a grand jury has agreed with us that cops actually committed homicide. Let me remind you of the situation as it unfolded. Here it is.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Drop the knife!
Please drop the knife! Randy, you got that door held shut? He went for you, Williams, right? He's slitting his throat. God damn it, no! No! Go get my medical bag out of that kit!
Drop it, Christian!
Oh my God. What do we do? Get that knife, he dropped it! Open the door, get the knife out! Unlock the door! Unlock the door! Where's my baton? Okay, come on, Christian. Come on, Christian. Yeah.
That was Clear Creek, Colorado.
Put up his picture. And I want to explain something, okay? I get emotional because I decided not to train myself to be desensitized to these stories. When I started my broadcast career, that was a requirement, and I refused to do so. This 22-year-old young man was suffering a mental health crisis. It was clear.
Yeah. 22-year-old Christian Glass was experiencing a mental health crisis and called 911 to get his vehicle unstuck, which led to two Clear Creek County deputies needlessly escalating the standoff and killing him.
He was suffering a mental health crisis. When we first covered this, I said on that day, this was homicide. Now a grand jury has finally indicted these cops. Christian Glass, 22 years of age, got his car stuck on a rural road in Colorado. You see, he's making a heart symbol.
You know what a heart symbol
in
means?
his
It
mind,
means love.
He's trying to let
peace.
them know he's no danger to anybody.
None at all.
Loves them. But he's in a chaotic state mentally. Posed no threat.
None at all.
He was just sitting in his car. They could have left him alone. They could have just sat down and waited. The man is going to end up getting hungry, falling asleep. It's a human being. You can't just wait for your shift to end. Just wait, and he'll be alive. But they couldn't do that. Let's put his picture back up. This human being, this person that should be alive today, actually is the one who called 911.
It was him.
He called 911 because he wanted help to get his vehicle unstuck. But on the call, he clearly was going through a mental health crisis. He was paranoid on the telephone to 911. He was extremely afraid, according to the call he made to 911. When officers arrived, body camera video showed Glass refusing to exit the car while telling officers he was in fact terrified and making heart-shaped signals or signs with his hands. The grand jury decided that two Colorado sheriff deputies needlessly escalated a fatal standoff with Glass, who was experiencing a mental health crisis, leading him to brandish a knife in a state of complete panic and self-defense. Indictments released last Monday showed Let's put up the pictures that we have of this person. Okay? According to the details, Clear Creek County Sheriff Deputy Andrew Bowen, whose shot glass oscillated between aggressive language and then conversational tone with the paranoid young man, and then decided to mute his body camera when speaking to the supervisor, Deputy Kyle Gould, just before the situation escalated. Understand what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. He goes back and forth with this individual who's clearly mentally unstable, going through a mental health crisis. He's using a variation of tone. In one moment, he seems okay, the cop. The next moment, he seems as if he wants to do something really bad to this young man. It's confusing the young man, even more so.
Yeah, when people are having a mental health crisis like that, they tend to have panic attacks.
Comes back and kills him. What do you think he said? Do you think he may have said he's going to go ahead and do exactly what he did? We don't know. He cut his microphone off. All right. Bowen was indicted, rightfully so, on charges of second-degree murder, official misconduct, and reckless endangerment. The indictment was announced last week, months after Glass's death. But the details were only made public with last month's release. Gould, who was not at the scene, was indicted on charges of reckless endangerment and criminally negligent homicide. You see that? Look at him. The indictment claims it was after the call that Bowen told another officer at the scene the decision to forcefully remove Glass from the vehicle had been made. The decision to breach the car came without a determination there was probable cause or
reasonable
suspicion by officers on the scene that a crime had been or was being committed according to the indictment. No crime had been committed whatsoever.
You think that young man, Christian Glass, was committing a crime when he's holding a knife? He was having a fucking panic attack. He was having a mental crisis. He wasn't committing no crime. He didn't commit a crime. His vehicle was stuck. And sometimes when you're having a mental crisis, you have delusions. You get thoughts in your head. Sometimes when you get through like a panic attack and mental crisis, you hear voices in your head. These voices tell you to do things. Or it's like, like when you watch a little cartoon, you got the little angel and it's like, no, don't do that. And then you got the devil saying, oh, do it. You get in the heads and you hear like, oh, do this, do it like that. It's the heads that making you do things like that when you know. And to escalate that, people like that, they need the help. They need medication. They don't need psychological and be in jail or pay the ultimate price, their life.
Right. Nicole Lentz, a spokesperson for the Clear Creek County Sheriff, said in a statement that both officers were terminated following the indictments. The Sheriff's Office ongoing internal investigation found policy and procedural failures, adding that the office's initial news release following the shooting does not reflect the entirety of what happened on that terrible night. In other words, the news release was a lie.
It was a blatant lie.
The grand jury alleged that at no point was the officer in imminent danger. That is the requirement to use deadly force. But for the decision by Gould to remove Mr. Glass from the vehicle, there is no reason to believe that Mr. Glass would have been a danger to any law enforcement personnel, to himself, or to any member of the public, the grand jury wrote. And the decision to remove him from the vehicle directly led to the death of Mr. Glass. Now, I want you to remember, our first day reporting this, that's almost verbatim what we said. There was no reason to even remove him from the car. He committed no crime.
No.
Finally, the wheels of justice are moving in the right direction. We're going to continue to stay with this story. That young 22-year-old brother should be alive.
Should be alive. Oh, yeah. Since when is it a crime to own and possess a pocket knife? Just like many states, you have your rights, Second Amendment rights, to bear arms, like owning a gun, open or concealed carry. And it's certainly not a crime to own a pocket knife. And the guy was having delusional thoughts in his mind. That's why he's holding a knife. But he wasn't going to stab anybody or himself with that knife.
And I called him my brother because he is an expression of my values. He did nothing wrong. All right, Ricky, thoughts here.
Yeah, I'm scared to call the police. If we drive between Birmingham and Atlanta all the time.
Yeah.
If our car break down, who are we gonna call?
Right.
Because that can mean the same thing for us. You know what I'm saying? You got a cop that's hyper, non-caring, aggressive, itching to shoot.
Yeah.
Can't wait
Or their
to shoot,
ego
wanna
in place
shoot,
over their
giving
power.
confusing orders like we've seen before. We've seen cops kill a lot of people giving aggressive, confusing orders, and people think they're gonna die, and they panic. And then all of a sudden, you load off 7 rounds, and that cop knew he was gonna shoot him when he muted it. And why would you mute that?
That's right.
Camera to begin with, or whatever? And they should put him in jail. But not only him, they should put a lot of them should be in jail. You know, the cop that killed Breonna Taylor, and I can go on and on and on, should be in jail or whatever. And let's see if the Fraternal Order of Police is going to release a statement about that.
Come on.
God, bingo. And you know what? This is not the first story I've done about a person having a mental crisis, and it ultimately pays the price with the life of the cop. I think it was a couple stories ago about a woman had a mental crisis, and the parents called 911 to bring a paramedic out there. And what shows up? A cop. And you know what that cop forgot to do? He forgot to buckle the seatbelt on that young lady. Took a turn, the door popped open, and she paid her life. It was just a couple days ago. Some young man got arrested. I don't know what city it was. I can't think of the top of my head, but his last name was Cox as well. And the cop, this guy got arrested, handcuffed, but the cop forgot to seatbelt the guy because he was in this one of the arrest wagons. The cop was doing 36 miles an hour, 25 zone, playing on his phone. You don't play with yourself when you're driving. This cop was playing on his phone, doing 36, 25, hit the brakes, and this young man hit his head on the back of that wagon. Back of the wagon. Another case right there. And here's another case of Happy Fuck the Cops Day. Fuck the police. It's a good day. It's a win-win for us in the one-day pocket when 2 pickies are going to jail. Don't drop the soap. They're pickies. Oink, 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 oink. Yeah. How do you like me now, motherfuckers? I'm out of here. My job. Peace out.